In the heart of Brookline, Massachusetts lies a movie theater. But this isn't your ordinary Cineplex. This is the Coolidge Corner Theater. Opened in 1933, this now non-profit independent art house has been thrilling the film lovers of the Boston area ever since. We sat down with some of the folks who make the theater run to find out a little bit more about it.
My name's Andrew Thompson. I'm the theater operations director. My title used to be theater manager, so they changed it about a year and a half ago, and it's pretty much exactly the same job, just apparently director looks better on a resume. I am in charge of taking care of the physical building, all the different rooms, all the equipment, overseeing the entire staff, though fortunately I do have an assistant to help me with that. I do all the shipping in and out of films. I order all the concessions and keep everything stocked. So basically in charge of the physical plant and the staff. Well, the building has been here since the 30s. It was originally a church. It didn't stay a church very long. I think within the first decade of its existence, it became a movie theater. The early history of it being a movie theater isn't really very well documented, but in the 70s and 80s, it was owned by a gentleman named Justin Freed, and we have the most, actual documentation and photographs from that time period. It was an art house theater at that time, and sometime in the time that he ran the place, the room that I'm sitting in, which is Movie House 2 now, this used to be the balcony of the main theater, Movie House 1. So times were, financially difficult, and they twinned what had just been a single screen theater with a balcony into two theaters so that they could be more flexible with programming. Unfortunately, that didn't save the enterprise, and they ran into major financial difficulties and had to close. And the building was going to be demolished, and a group of local Brookline citizens got together and raised money to acquire the building and start a not-for-profit foundation. They unfortunately couldn't raise the money completely, or they didn't have it in hand at the time that it was needed, and so they had to go to local landlord Harold Brown, who owns Hamilton Corporation, to actually purchase the building. Hamilton still owns it to this day, and the theater pays rent, and the building has been subdivided into a couple of other businesses in the front. There was a wedding here a few years after I was hired as theater manager. The space in front of us that is currently a pizza place was an Aubon Pain, and the woman who was the manager there was getting married to a guy who worked down the street, and they had made an agreement that when they got married, they were going to walk from their space through the double doors that used to exist behind the concession stand and into the theater where the marriage was going to be performed by an Elvis impersonator, and they were going to watch Three Stooges movies. So that's all well and good. So the night before, I get a phone call at home from one of the kids here, and they sound pretty panicked, and that there was a man here with a crowbar ripping down the wall. So what had happened was we had apparently put up drywall unbeknownst to me. How I missed that, I don't know, but the executive director at the time had this guy come in and put up drywall over the doors because he had completely forgotten about this wedding. So this woman's brother-in-law came in with a crowbar, ripped the wall down, and their marriage went as planned the next day. But yeah, that's the kind of thing that used to happen all the time. I mean, physically, it's a wonderful place to watch movies. The screens are a good size. The rooms are comfortable. I've been here so long, it's kind of, this is essentially like my living room to me at this point. So it's hard for me to answer that. But I wouldn't have stayed here for 15 years if I didn't really love this place and love being here. And you know, the people who work here also help to make this place special. It's always been a great place to work.
The Coolidge offers many stylish ways to watch a movie, from their main movie houses that show 35mm prints of new and classic films, to their more intimate screening room and gold screen theaters, which seat a smaller amount of people but show a variety of movies like documentaries and local films. At the Coolidge, you'll find a friendly and dedicated staff, keeping the long legacy of the Coolidge going strong. They're happy to sell you tickets or offer you a variety of different concessions. The popcorn is the best in the city, trust me.
I mean, the day-to-day here is pretty simple. Obviously, you know, there's not a lot of variation when you're working an afternoon shift, but, you know, the best times are like if we'll, you know, do like a staff screening of an awesome movie, like everyone shows up at midnight when we're closed, and like, you know, hang out and watch just some awesome midnight movie, but just the staff and a couple friends, like that. Those are really like the really good times, good memories.